Never stop reading Bible. That's really what we're doing today. We're diving deep into Psalms 51 to 55 specifically.
A powerful sequence.
Let's start with Psalm 51. It's probably the most famous penitential psalm, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. It's listed among others like 6, 32, 38, but 51 holds a unique place. The background is crucial. It's widely held to be David's response, his repentance, after the prophet Nathan confronts him.
About Bathsheba, right?
Exactly. The affair, the murder of Uriah, Nathan calls him out, and this psalm is essentially the broken response.
So it starts from this place of just utter honesty. No excuses.
None at all. Verses 1 and 2 are this raw plea for mercy, for cleansing. And then verses 3 to 6, he just owns it. He acknowledges his sin, accepts his guilt before God.
And it's not just about avoiding punishment, is it? He seems to want more.
That's key. Verses 7 through 15 detail 9 specific things he's asking for. It's about restoration, renewal, getting that joy back, being cleansed internally.
Which leads to that profound insight, verses 16 and 17.
Yes. The idea that God isn't primarily looking for animal sacrifices, the standard religious practice. What he truly values, David understands, is a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. That's revolutionary.
And he even connects his personal state to the nation's well-being, asking God to prosper Zion.
He does. His repentance has wider implications. For you listening, think about that depth of owning your stuff, but also the incredible hope for genuine restoration.
Then Psalm 52 shifts gears dramatically.
It really does. This one's linked to a darker incident involving Doeg the Edomite.
From 1 Samuel 21 and 22, where Doeg informs Saul about Ahimelech helping David.
Precisely. Which led to Saul ordering the massacre of the priests at Nob, a horrific act. This psalm feels like a response to that kind of malicious violence.
How is it structured?
The sources point to 3 parts. First, a direct address to the violent man, condemning his deceitful tongue. Then, a message about him, God's judgment, saying the wicked will be uprooted.
And the third part?
The psalmist contrasts himself like a flourishing olive tree in God's house, trusting in God's love, praising him. It's a stark contrast between malicious plotting and faithful trust.
Okay, then Psalm 53. It's noted as being very similar to Psalm 14.
Yes, almost identical in parts. The central warning is about the fool, not someone lacking intelligence, but someone who lives as if God doesn't exist or matter.
There is no God, it says. That's the root of the foolishness.
Exactly. It's a moral and spiritual blindness. God looks down, searching for anyone who seeks him, but finds, well, basically none doing good on their own.
And the wicked described here, they seem to rely on their own strength, not God.
That's right. They devour God's people, but don't call on him. But then comes the twist, sudden terror and judgment fall on them, precisely because they didn't fear God properly.
And this judgment leads to praise.
Yes. Ultimately, God's intervention turns their disgrace into Israel's restoration and joy. It really makes you think about what true foolishness is in God's eyes.
Moving quickly to Psalm 54, this feels more personal again.
It is a classic personal lament, crying out for help against immediate danger.
And the context.
This is David hiding in the wilderness of Ziph, and the locals, the Ziphites, betray his location to Saul. His life is on the line. 1 Samuel 23 covers this.
So it's that raw cry, God save me, vindicate me, when you feel hunted, basically.
Precisely. Deliverance from immediate threat. Very relatable for anyone feeling cornered.
And finally, Psalm 55. Another lament, but with a different kind of sting.
Again, David feels his life is threatened by enemies, but the real pain here comes from betrayal by a friend.
You can feel the distress right from the start. He just resolves to pray.
Yes. Amidst the oppression and persecution he describes in verse 3. Then verses 4 and 5, it's visceral terror, trembling, the horrors of death.
And that famous line, wishing for wings like a dove to just fly away.
Yeah, that deep human longing to escape overwhelming trouble. Find peace somewhere, anywhere else.
But the core of the pain.
Verses 12 to 14 make it clear. It wasn't just any enemy. It was an equal, a companion, a close friend, someone he walked with, shared life with. That's what makes the betrayal so agonizing.
Which explains the strong curse he pronounces later.
It does. But even with that raw emotion, look how he keeps coming back to prayer, verses 16 and 17. Evening, morning, noon, he cries out, trusting God will hear.
And he contrasts the betrayer's fate with God's faithfulness.
Right. God is unchanging. God saves, God redeems, God brings peace. Even when people prove faithless, he ends by reaffirming his own trust and telling others essentially to cast their burdens on the Lord.
Wow. This deep dive was based on source material from the Center Studio.